goblins and broomsticks and ghosts, covens of witches with all of their hosts. You may think they scare me, you're probably right. Black cats and goblins on Halloween night. Trick or treat!
Hey, what's up? Today we have a very special episode. Monster Kid Media. We're doing the very first John Carpenter's Halloween to be released on Halloween. So hopefully the guy that edits these videos gets off his ass and puts it out on Halloween. What's up, guys? Are you ready?
Never too sure.
Everybody's got their shirts on?
Yeah.
All right.
Ready to go.
Like the rabbit in red. What do you got there, Mikey?
This is from GB Artwork, a Cleveland-based, well, Lakewood, I guess, which is Cleveland essentially. But yeah, they always make really cool kind of horror themed sports shirts. They've got a Jason Cleveland one, and they've got this one. They've got a Michael Myers one. So I think I wore the Cleveland Jason one for our Friday the 13th.
Yeah,
I can't remember. I think it did.
And
But
that's cool.
And I got my shirt.
Yeah, you said what? You said Walmart special.
Walmart. This was a couple years ago. Only special people have this shirt. So,
I mean, hey,
do you have that shirt too?
Yep.
The same.
You got it for me.
The purple one.
Yep.
Oh damn! you didn't want to wear it today?
Well, I was wearing this one. Because Lindsay and Eddie got me this one, and she watches these. I want her to know I'm wearing her shirt she got me.
Well, since it's Halloween, and we are almost 1 year into this, next month is going to be our 1 year anniversary.
That's wild.
I got you guys presents. You want to
see? You got us presents?
Yep.
What?
I got you presents.
You stop it.
It's true. I'm going to show you right now.
I thought my present was earlier.
Yeah, well.
Matt may or may not have had a Halloween shirt on earlier.
I was in the middle. It was a wardrobe change. Are you ready to see your present?
Yeah.
Yes.
Present number 2 for Steve. Oh, what?
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh man,
that's awesome.
I got Monster
We're official
for you. Yeah, official.
Sweet.
So
man,
they're all in black. They're screen printed.
I love it.
Yeah. I didn't get many. I got a box. So hopefully I got enough for everybody. And if people want them, let me know. I'm not saying it. I'll be able to get them for you. But if there is interest in any of them, let me know.
Well, I mean, I think we owe a couple to some people, right?
Oh yeah, I got some for some viewers. Yeah. I got our buddy Zach. Happy birthday, belated birthday, Zach.
Happy birthday, Zach.
Your shirt's
happy birthday.
Sasquatch Phil, your shirt's in the box.
Man.
Yeah, I got everybody set up, I think.
I mean, listen, we have over 300 people that subscribe to this ridiculousness now.
I
That's
think
crazy.
Mostly friends of ours and family, people that we work with. So,
and bots.
Yeah, there's probably bots. I don't know. We get some comments sometimes.
Yeah, we do. I mean, the Friday 13th. I mean,
that one blew the fuck up.
Yeah, you definitely started something there, Mike.
Like people were getting like pissed. You guys are stupid. Jason's not in that one. It's just like, okay, relax. It's just a fun.
Not really though. A lot of people were on our side.
There were Pamela could have never thrown so and so through the window. So
yeah,
we're just here, just doing what we do. We just talk about these theories, and that's kind of why we started the whole channel, because we used to have these phone conversations about the dumbest shit. And it's like, why don't we just record this and put it off into the internet so everybody can listen to our dumb shit?
Yeah, well, back in the day, it's in the interwebs.
Back in the day, we could remember what we were talking about, so we could talk on the phone. I could wait till I called someone to talk about it. Now I'm getting so old, I can't remember, so I got to talk about like right now.
I don't remember shit.
Yeah. Dude,
So
I'll rewatch them, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot we talked about them.
who are these guys?
It's not that bad yet.
All right, so let's get into this.
Yes.
1978 John Carpenter classic, Halloween.
Yeah, buddy.
There,
Man.
this is a weird one because there's a lot to talk about, or I could say very little about it.
Well, like earlier, I mean, we could be done in 30 seconds.
Yeah, the
What-
escaped mental patient kills babysitters, the horny babysitters, the virgin babysitter lives, spoiler alert, and then the boogeyman's out there, the end.
Boom, done. All right, cut it. We're done.
That's it.
But
Halloween.
you know Mike brought 6 pages of notes.
Heck yeah.
Yep, I do. And I kind of sent a little message earlier, but I think there's a lot that people know, but I still think that we should talk about it, because if there's that one person in our 300 plus subscribers that don't know, we should talk about it. You know,
All right.
I
Well,
think
I
I
agree.
think we all know this movie frontwards and backwards. So I think it's, this is one of those movies that we all love
Yes.
so much. So
I'm-
I don't think I care how long this goes. And I think that we start from the beginning.
If we can keep Matt on track.
Yeah, we got to keep Matt on track. But
What's up, Captain
all right,
Kirk?
well, go. All right, so go ahead, Matt.
everybody knows this. If you don't know this, you're gonna learn something today. But I think everyone who stumbles across this video is gonna know this.
You think, but you never know.
Michael Myers, his mask. Okay, the crew was sent to the store to go get a Halloween mask for the killer. They picked out an Emmett Kelly clown mask,
Yep.
a Captain Kirk mask, and some other mask. Well, they put the Captain Kirk mask on, and it's emotionless. They ended up painting this white, pulling the eyebrows, cutting the eyes, pulling these sideburns, and misting the hair black. So this is that, basically.
Yeah.
It's a 1975 Don Post Captain Kirk mask. You can't find them anywhere. If you find them, they're thousands of dollars. This is a replica made by Nicholas Art Gallery, based off of someone else's 1975 Kirk. So that's
I heard
probably
it
the
cost them
closest I'll do.
$1.95 for that mask.
God. And now they're probably 20 grand at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Jeez.
Yep.
Captain.
Okay.
That's,
So
that.
I mean, so like you said, like people probably know that, right? But the fact that you have the Kirk mask, it gives people a visual of what they saw. So
Yeah.
like imagine they're walking in the masks, the Halloween store, mask store, and they see that, right? And they have the forward thinking of that can be freaking creepy.
well, I don't know
You know
that.
what I mean? I don't know if I would look at that and think that that would be, I don't know. I don't know if I could do that.
I don't think that they thought let's paint this thing white. But when they tested it, I mean, look at that profile is perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's the phone scene. You know?
Yeah.
Um
So the clown
Tommy Lee
one,
Wallace is the guy that actually converted this. Like he's the one that cut up the eyes and spray painted. So we're gonna give him credit for creating the Shapes mask. And Michael Myers also is called the Shape throughout that film. So he's credited
Right.
as the Shape.
Yes.
So if you hear us say the Shape, that's what we're talking about.
yeah, because even in the credits, it just says the Shape.
Yeah. So I have that's about the extent of my Halloween knowledge.
Yeah. Right.
This guy.
That's just the shape of things to come.
Oh, this guy. Oh, look at that.
All
Look
right.
at that.
Well, so where do you guys want to start?
I feel like I'm going to be doing a lot of listening because I feel like my notes. I feel like my notes are. There's not going to be anything in there that you guys don't know. I could be wrong, but I doubt it.
I
I'm
bet-
sure there is.
I bet that your notes are filled with tidbits that I'd never thought about.
No.
Let's hear
So,
what's your first point? What's your first talking
all
point?
right. So let's start with the title.
Yep.
Let's start with the iconic title screen, right?
You talking about the title
Um,
Halloween or the title screen?
So the title screen, Halloween with the pumpkin
Mhm.
coming in, right?
Yeah.
So you pointed out the other day, is there like there's a little bug in the pumpkin,
I
Yeah,
never
no.
knew that.
Well,
and
I think they took it out in like the 4K.
no,
Because-
it was no. I watched the 4K. It's in there.
Oh, you did see it?
Yeah. I saw. Man, I tell you what. I know we. You know, however you feel about 4K, I get it. But it's really interesting to watch these movies in 4K. I feel like you see a whole lot more, good and bad,
Yeah.
honestly. Uh, so that title screen, right? Now, I'm not even gonna get into the title of Halloween, but just the title screen itself. So the pumpkin, do you know where that was recorded and everything?
No.
Mm-mm.
So it was recorded in a dark garage.
Okay.
They had an yeah, look at that.
See?
Deborah Hill recorded it. Deborah Hill, man, Deborah Hill has her. I mean, of course we know this, but Deborah Hill has her hands so in so many parts of this movie.
Oh yeah.
Um, I mean it really should say John Carpenter and Deborah Hill's Halloween, to be honest, but that might be too much. But yeah, she recorded it. The garage was used a couple times, but this time, so let me get my notes to make sure that I got it. In a black garage, and yeah, it was like they lit it up, and there was like no wind. They could control it, and I'm assuming that they use this garage for a lot of different things, and I'll get into that later. But yeah, so that's where that whole part was recorded.
Whose garage was it? Deborah Hill's garage?
I don't know if it was her garage, but she was the one that that set it up and like had the idea and all that.
Okay.
Right on.
So
Rest in peace, Deborah
so
Hill.
the title Halloween. Go ahead.
Well, it was initially the Babysitter's Murders,
Right.
like the working title. And then they were like, well, let's base it around Halloween, and started calling it Halloween. So that's it. That's all I know.
There you go.
That's all I know.
That's it.
That's it.
That's all I know.
How I don't know. It spawned so many other holiday movies after it.
It was genius to come up with just Halloween. I think that is a way better title for that reason alone. Like you said, it spawned a lot more, but it also is a holiday movie. Every Halloween you're going to see that movie somewhere just because of the title. So
I can't
think-
imagine a Halloween without Halloween.
Yeah.
For 45 years, Michael Myers has been Halloween. That's wild to me.
It's awesome.
It is
I
awesome.
love it.
And I can't imagine when they were making it. I mean, when they're making it, they're having a good time, and they've talked about it. It was friends, it was family,
Mhm.
and they're just kind of having fun making this movie. And there's no way they could have ever thought it would be what it is. Yeah, I don't know.
So I heard that it did not do well initially when it first came out. And the audience is basically what, like, the critics hated it, but the audiences loved it. And then the critics went back and re-reviewed everything, and they were like, okay, we get it.
Yeah,
Isn't that how that normally goes with the critics, though?
Yeah.
it
Like,
is.
they always hated on horror films, especially then.
Hmm.
Was it Ebert or whatever would constantly tear horror films down.
Yeah.
Oh
So,
yeah, for sure.
what do you guys want to start with? The characters, the character development?
Well, I read something interesting. It kind of goes along with what we were just saying.
Okay.
This is not something I knew off the top of my head. I read it today actually, but they doing this movie, they only had a budget of $300,000,
Yeah.
Hmm.
and they ended up making 47 million in the box office.
Yeah,
That's wild.
insane. That's
insane.
insane.
And so, can I piggyback off that a little bit?
Yeah.
So before we get into the characters and stuff, so John Carpenter, right? He had a lot was very fluid that he let happen, but he had his must-haves, right? His must-haves were that he had to have the best of the editing, right? The best film. He had to have the best camera, which at that time, and I think the star of, I mean, well, outside of the music, right? The star of the movie is the new technology at the time that just came out, the Panamax.
Oh yeah.
So
Well,
he
and
demanded that
which they use in that opening shot.
they use it throughout the whole movie.
Well, that opening shot, it's one continuous shot that goes around the front of the house to the back of the house, and it kind
Yeah.
of shows you, the setup of that house. That was
Yeah.
kind of groundbreaking, that shot at that time too.
Oh, absolutely. And so the bulk of his budget went towards all the things that made the movie look like a multi-million dollar budget film. He's like, I'm gonna spend for this, the editing, the sound, and it's gonna look great. And that's what he did.
And he hired Dean Cundy, who did a lot of that atmospheric lighting and whatnot. So
Mhm. Oh, the lighting. Well, I mean, I don't know where to start because I watched it 3 times the other day.
Well, you did
Just
what you were saying about the camera thing. I did when I read that thing about how much it cost them to film. I guess that like they said that was like half of his budget was the camera. And then like
yeah,
he had to, I think it was 20 grand he gave to Loomis. And then the rest of
yeah,
it probably went to, the score and everything. Not much.
yeah. I mean,
Not much at all.
Donald Pleasance was like a well-established actor, acting with a bunch of kids at that time, and he was John Carpenter was kind of nervous around him initially, because
Oh
he
yeah.
was making this film. What was his second film? Was it a second film?
It might have
that I'm
been.
not sure about.
I
He
know
was still
Assault on
early on.
Precinct 13 was before this, right before this.
Say it again.
Yeah.
Assault on Precinct 13. Yeah.
Assault on Precinct 13.
Yeah.
So he was a little intimidated by Donald Pleasance, but he said he ended up being one of the nicest guys to work with.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Definitely one of the most likable characters in that film.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, he took over the screen when he was on the screen.
Yeah.
Easily.
I heard he was drunk for a lot of it.
Drunk?
Yeah.
Probably.
They said that he was drunk for a lot, like that scene. I don't want to jump, but there's a scene where he's sitting in a car talking to a nurse. They said that before he shot it, he drank 2 bottles of wine. And they were scared to death because they had no budget or anything, that he was going to be messed up and not be able to do his lines or anything, but totally.
He killed it.
Yeah. He was only on set for 5 days, guys.
Really?
Yeah.
5 freaking days.
And they got a lot of use out of those 5 days.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. We always jump around
Yeah, we do.
constantly.
All right,
I
let's
mean,
talk about.
but
We just talked about the camera. We talked about the lighting. Let's talk about the soundtrack really quick.
Ooh.
That first of all, you get that iconic Halloween theme, which is
Yeah.
everywhere now. To the point for me, if I hear it, it's not scary. But when I was a kid, it was like, oh shit, it was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But that was like back when VHS tapes were around. You didn't hear that song very much, just when you popped in the tape, and
yeah,
it was more effective then. Now you hear it everywhere. There's Michael Myers toys that you push the button and it does it. And it lost its effect.
Yeah.
That main theme set aside, there's so many other good parts of that score that John Carpenter did that
Yep.
are so effective. You know, just
Yeah.
the weird sounds, and it continued. I don't want to get into sequels, but it continued Halloween 1, 2, 3, 3 especially with the. I don't want to get into that.
You want to talk about remixing music? That Halloween theme song has been remixed so many times in just the movie.
so many times.
Yeah,
Just
Yeah.
the movie form.
Even going into Halloween 2, they started off. It was the same thing, but it's like, but it wasn't.
Yeah. Yep.
But you're right, Matt, in that the other sounds that he made, like when Myers would appear and they would do that. I don't even know what
it's
that
almost
sound
like
was.
a sound, but
It's like
it's like
like, you know what I'm
Oh
saying?
yeah, the high pitch.
or when he appears, that boom, when he comes like just into the screen and you see that he's watching, it's like, oh, which is
Yeah.
another thing he did a lot. And you didn't see it a lot in the VHS when you would watch the VHS, but like Michael would be in the back, like in the foreground of the shot, and you didn't always
Mhm.
notice.
Yeah.
Like when Annie's in the washroom.
Yeah, dude, I just saw that when I watched 4K. I was like, oh, it was that one part that's super blurry
Mm-hmm.
when he's in the window.
You can see him in a window. Yeah, I
Yeah,
have a poster of that.
Yeah, I wanted that poster. I love that poster.
I forget where I got it, Spencer's or something back in the day. But
You talked about the soundtrack. You bring up the music. I remember when I bought that on CD. I was on vacation with my family, and the Walkmans, and I'm sitting there drowning out my family. Just want to listen to music. And I bought that Halloween soundtrack. Dude, the soundtrack scared me, made me jump when the movie didn't. Like, that's how scary that thing was. Like, it was just like, real slow, quiet music, and they would have tidbits of the movie and they're talking.
mhm.
And
Yeah.
there's that one scene where he's like, Judith Myers, why do they do it? Like the music is
kids.
so quiet, and all of a sudden it's just bam and kicks in. I jumped like 5 feet out of my seat just from the CD. That's how like
yeah,
well
That's
that
how
music
effective that is.
worked.
Yeah. So the music, the lighting, they're all like characters in this film. The
Mhm.
house, I think, is like a character.
Mhm.
That being said, the actual characters in the film.
Well, before we go to that, did they say something about the music that they did a screening? They did a screening without the music.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they were like, "This isn't scary."
Just like
They said
Psycho.
this is not scary.
Dude, this movie has so many parallels with Alfred Hitchcock movies.
Mhm.
Like, you can tell that that's his favorite director of all time.
Mhm.
But I mean, from the ideas and names that he has in the films to the crap he went through, like you were saying, the screening of the movie, no music, wasn't scary. As soon as they put it in, sketch
It
people out.
changed. It changed everything.
Just like Psycho. Remember we talked about Psycho? It was the exact same
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's and it makes sense. Music does a lot that people don't realize.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Like sometimes you'll see some, people like on Instagram or whatever will take a funny show and put like
Oh yeah, turn it into a
behind it, and it's like, oh, that kind of works.
Yeah.
Or
yeah.
like a
Or
creepy show and then put comedy like Seinfeld music behind it.
yeah, they did Silence of the Lambs. They made it into a romantic comedy
I
or
think
a
I saw it.
romantic
Oh my
like
god.
Just by changing the music and having like a
it
voiceover.
was it was
That's crazy.
So
but it's true. Yeah.
That's nuts.
I'm not trying to like rush it along, but we gotta
You are.
we gotta
You
keep
can't no, listen, no, listen.
we gotta keep on
Be
track.
listen, this is the only time we're gonna do it. However long it is how long it is.
All right. Well, can we talk about the
No
character?
one's gonna listen. What's the difference between an hour and a half and 2 hours?
30
Nothing.
minutes.
Because if someone's gonna watch an hour and a half, they're gonna watch 2 hours. If they're not gonna watch an hour and a half, they're not gonna watch 2 hours.
I can tell you right now that only like 1% of the viewers make it all the way through. And that's probably
Who is this? Who is this for?
us.
So I'm gonna watch this when I'm 80. I'm like, look at that. That's right.
Who are those
And then,
guys?
and then I'm gonna watch it again because I'm like, what did I just watch?
All right, what do you want to talk about the music some more then?
No, well, like I don't know when to keep talking about things because the camera, I think we kind of went past the camera way too fast because the camera, what makes this movie the way it is? I was just having a conversation with my buddy Kyle the other day about. He says this movie still scares him, and I'm like, I'm trying to think, what is it about this movie?
Well, can
And
I
I think,
No, go ahead.
what's up?
I was gonna ask
But
you.
so then it got me thinking, and then as I watched the movie 3 times in one day,
Mhm.
I was like, what is it about this movie? Because every time I watch it, I don't get bored. I just don't. And I'm thinking, and then it made me think about when we were talking about the new Exorcist,
Mhm.
you and me, and we were talking about how the first half was awesome and the second half sucked. Do you remember why the second half we didn't like it?
No, I don't. The new Exorcist?
Yeah, Believer or what?
I didn't care for that movie.
You liked we both liked the first half. We
I
liked
don't
how it
remember.
started. The
I
reason
just
we didn't like the
remember
second half because remember we said it had like quick cut scenes all the time.
yeah, and the audio was like too much.
Yeah. What's great about this movie is that, and I don't know if it's because they they did it out of necessity, which is very possible, and probably the reason they really couldn't do a lot of different shots from a lot of different angles, and they really couldn't do a lot of shots. Period. Right? It had to be one and done.
Yeah.
The fact that they hold on shots for a long period of time
Yeah.
in a lot of scenes, and I think it really works for this movie to make it seem, it gives it a depth that makes it so real. That Panamax makes a widescreen, right?
Yeah.
So instead of cutting back and forth a lot of times between conversations, you have the conversations happening in front of you.
Well, with
And
that being said, those wide shots, a lot of
Yeah.
those are when Michael's in the background creeping.
Well, right, but it gives you that feeling of dread, right? The whole time.
Kind of like It Follows, how
Yeah.
they use, you see that person in the background. Well, you see Michael in the background, but then when Michael's up close, you see closer in shots.
Mhm.
But I also heard with the lighting, they only had so many lights, so they were like moving and
Running.
recycling lights, especially like
Yeah.
in the house.
Yeah, we haven't even gotten to that.
We're in this house, or in this room now. We got to run over to this room, and the way that house is set up, you can get around because the rooms are all kind of interconnected. But
Yeah. but I think the lack of it cutting gave it a real feel.
Mhm.
It gave you a feeling of it doesn't it immerses you more, I feel, instead of
I
cutting it.
gotta throw something back though and ask you. So there are long drawn out shots
Yeah.
of like Lori walking,
Mhm.
Annie trying to find her keys and singing their song and back and forth. You like that
I
because
do.
because
I have grown to appreciate it.
it builds the suspense and the tension, which is what makes this movie.
It does. And I
Well,
think what makes this movie great is that
oh wait,
you know stuff's gonna happen, but
but
it does, and it
but it
does
pissed
do
you
jump
off.
scares.
It pissed
What?
you off when Alice was making cereal on Friday the 13th.
That's different. No, she was making coffee.
Coffee.
Coffee, that's what it
Different.
was.
Different. Different. Totally different.
Friday the 13th tried to build.
They tried, yes. And
Yeah.
they did, and they failed. They
Yes.
failed.
So
I
you're
agree.
saying the right way to do it is to have the
Yes.
character look for her keys and not make the coffee.
It was different.
But
It
that
was not
breathing,
nearly as long as that coffee.
you got to put that breathing in the mask in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what does it. That's what makes you in there, you know, because you know it's gonna happen.
It
That
was great.
the scare is in the buildup and the tension,
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
suspense.
And they did jump scares, but they did jump scares in a completely different way. Like they would have kind of build up and then nothing would happen.
Yeah.
Which is great, right?
Mhm.
And it's funny because this is the first time any of that kind of really happened. Now it seems like a lot of tropes, but this was the first time that stuff had been used, really.
Well, so many films take from this film.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like even as early as Friday the 13th, it came out just a couple years after. Like that was you could see what they took from Halloween.
It's crazy because you got Friday the 13th and that it took from Halloween. Halloween took from Dark Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
So Dark Christmas, Halloween kind of was like the godfathers of this type of genre, you know.
Yeah.
I feel, but it is definitely an unsettling. Like when you sit there and watch that movie, it is unsettling. Like it's
Say
different.
Dark Christmas or Black Christmas?
No, what?
Did you say Dark Christmas?
He said Dark Christmas. It's all right.
Did I?
Yeah, it's okay.
Dark Black. It's
We knew what you were
No,
talking
I'm
about.
sorry. I didn't know I said dark. I'm sorry. Black Christmas.
yeah.
I'm sorry. Bob Clark's Black Christmas.
Got it. I don't know if
But,
there was another Christmas movie I was missing.
But it was. I really like how unsettling this movie makes you feel. You know, like we did Texas Chainsaw. We were talking about like you're almost in the room and you're saying allergies and stuff. You know, you have that feeling. This movie, it's almost like you're behind the girls walking and Michael's behind you. Like you're right with the way it's shot, everything and the sounds, everything. You are in the scenes. I love that.
I love the breathing in the mask. I love the through the eyes shots that the camera does.
Yeah.
I don't think we're jumping ahead by talking about the first kill,
We haven't even started the movie,
which follows Michael's vision with that camera you're talking about, how he goes around the house, check everything out. You're seeing that through Michael's vision, and then you see that hand, which is actually Deborah Hill's hand, go and reach for the knife, and then go up and then reach for the clown mask.
Yep.
It's a really cool.
And that was where the first cut was, by the way.
Yeah. When he put the mask up.
Yeah, they said there were like two cuts. There was that one and then another one, but
so I have a funny story about the Judith Myers. Did I tell you about the ice shanty? My dad had an ice shanty in the basement, and for those city folk who don't know what that is, it's for ice fishing. It's like a 4-sided thing to keep the wind out. You put it up. So my dad built this ice shanty so he could ice fish. And inside, he had it set up in the basement so he could like paint the outside of it. Inside, he had like Playboy pinups of of chicks in there. So
Playboy Playmates.
yeah, there was one that I remember specifically. It was this girl with a green baseball hat and a baseball bat, totally naked. And I would sneak down to the basement so I could see this centerfold. And my mom would like yell at me, "Get out of your dad's ice shanty." And I'm like, God damn. So like that was burnt into my brain because like that's the first naked chick that I'd seen. I was young. But I'd seen Halloween, which I mean you see her topless, but it wasn't until just like I don't know 10 or 15 years ago that I realized that Playboy model is Judith Myers. When I was at a convention and she was signing her stuff, and I'm like, holy shit, she had her ice shanty picture on the table.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
I never knew that she did that stuff.
She did it. And so
Wow.
yeah, it's nuts. So I wanted to get a picture and have her sign it and have her write, "Stay out of your dad's ice." But I haven't seen her at a convention. So
wow, that's crazy.
yeah, so Judith Myers was actually a Playboy centerfold.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
The first
awesome.
Halloween death.
In your dad's ice shanty.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would put a picture in. But we would get banned.
Yeah, you could blur it, I guess.
Yeah, it could.
That's crazy. Never knew that. That's wow.
Sandy Johnson is that actress's name.
Something
like
that. So kind of going with that, John Carpenter. I listened to commentary with him. That dude's a little bit of a he likes his naked chicks.
Oh yeah.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yeah. As I was listening to him, oh yeah, he's like, oh, there's what's her name, the actress. He's like, oh, and she was willing to do that, and that was very nice. I think he just kept making comments, and then he made comments about Jamie Lee Curtis later on, when she was wearing the blue pants or whatever with her there.
Oh really?
Like, oh my goodness, yeah.
He's a dirty old man.
The dude's no, yeah, he's
but he doesn't have a lot of nudity in his movies.
He doesn't, but the nudity he has, he likes. So we're on the house, right? And you talked a little bit about the house was decrepit, right? Again, this is one of those things that a lot of people know. But the house was a decrepit house, and what they did was they say they whitewashed it, right? They painted, they put up wallpaper, they put in furniture, only in the places that they needed to record.
Mm-hmm.
But everything else, like if the camera went like an inch to the left, it was destroyed, right? So that was kind of movie magic that they did. And the one thing I saw when I was watching 4K, you could see a lot of camera shadows.
Well,
yeah, and which is whatever. It's whatever. It doesn't really mess up anything, but the dude is probably one of the quickest. He finished probably in one of the quickest times you've ever seen.
Oh, he was in and out.
He was like they went upstairs and he was done.
Well, you think they actually did anything? He might just went upstairs. I know that's what they were insinuating, but I always took it as if they just went upstairs and you know, she kicked him out or
And
something.
Maybe she
She
let him
kicked him
borrow
out?
a book or something. Come on upstairs. I'll let you borrow this book, and then you got to go.
Yeah, you gotta get out of here. My
Yeah.
parents are gonna be home soon.
I'll let you borrow this book. She just happened to get topless and was just decided to comb her hair.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah. I heard that scene going through the house took 2 days to shoot.
Yes.
Out of everything in
Yeah.
that movie, like that was probably like the longest that they spent shooting was that for like 2 days. That's crazy. I mean, it's an
So from what I
awesome
heard,
shot.
yeah. So from what I heard, it took a day. But even so, 2 days a day, it's still for that little bit of time,
Yeah,
it's crazy.
they definitely were invested in that scene, which it worked. It worked great. You know, I felt
Yeah.
like I was right there, you know, grabbing that knife and going up the steps. But
Yeah, and that's all part of the Panamax camera, man. It's awesome. But that whole scene is great because then you see the kid, normal looking kid.
yeah,
I really love the way that kid, I forget what his name is, Eric Sandin maybe, is the actor who played that kid. I like the way he played it. Like he didn't play it like he was evil. He didn't
Yeah.
play it
Just
like
yeah.
he looked like he was shocked. You know, it was just a short scene, so it's not like you know, you're not going to get any awards or anything. But as a kid, for you to play that role and play that role like you have no idea what just happened. I like that. You know, that John Carpenter directed him to do that and the kid played it really well. Instead of like
Yeah.
growling at the camera or something stupid.
yeah. I
Right,
like that.
right. Having like a mean look.
Mhm.
Yeah, that makes it that much more kind of like weird, right? Because the kid looks so normal.
Yeah.
And but they said that when they came out with the camera and the mask was still on, that it was somebody kneeling down so that they had the view of a kid. So the cameraman had to come out on his knees so that it's like looking up at the parents.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
nice.
Because it wasn't, I mean, it wasn't the kid at the time. So it was the cameraman. So the guy was like, so he has the Panamax camera, right? And this thing is huge at the time, right? So not only does he have to carry it upstairs, now he's got to crawl on the ground with this thing and look like act like he's a kid. So they said it was, you know, and they, you know, they said everybody chipped in on making everything work, which is another endearing part of this movie, that everybody kind of worked together.
Mhm.
And it also lets you kind of forgive some of the mistakes that I've written down.
Right.
Radio.
A lot of the mistakes you couldn't really see on the old tapes also.
No,
Like the cigarette smoke coming into the screen
right.
during the Bush scene. Like I didn't notice that until like the DVDs started coming out.
Yeah, the two guys that were on the porch.
I don't know if I noticed that.
Yeah, when they're walking, it's right after that scene, and you see two guys standing up on a porch looking over the hedge. It's a guy in like a yellow shirt.
Oh, are they crew members?
Even crew members.
Oh, oh, and the palm trees that are in the shots too. Like,
Palm trees. I mean, so all the green, right?
Mhm.
All the green in the movie. Everything's green. The grass is green, the trees are green, but the way they made the movie, you forgive all that. You don't really even notice it.
well, the lighting is very cold. It's like a bluish lighting. It makes you feel chilly. The
Yeah.
green grass, I I I overlook it because of the dead brown leaves. And a fun fact, I don't. Are you about to say the fun fact?
Oh no, you do it. You do it. You go.
What are you gonna say?
No, you do it. No, it's yours.
I was gonna bring up a cameo. Is that what you guys talking about?
Well, it's a cameo of the crew.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Robert Englund, who plays Freddy Krueger, worked on this film, spreading those leaves. So Freddy is in Halloween.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
And they said that painting those leaves was a huge part of the budget too,
Oh, really?
because they had to paint. Yeah, well, because all the leaves were green, so they had to paint them to make them look brown. And they said that was a huge part of the budget, because they had to take all those leaves and again, another thing that might be well known, they had to, after every shot, they had to collect them all again
That's what
and
I was
put
going
them
to say
back in the
about Robert
bags.
Englund. I was going to say he was a leaf wrangler, but
Yeah, he was the leaf wrangler, right?
yeah.
And they had fans that would blow the leaves around,
Yeah.
to make it seem like that. And it was funny because watching it now, the main scene would have all these leaves, and then they would cut to the other side of the street, and there's nothing.
Nothing. Yeah.
Which, and again, it doesn't matter. That one scene that you're talking about when she's walking with her friends, when they see Myers come out of the hedge, and there's the smoke or whatever, and then there's the crew members, and she's walking, and it's one of the jump scares. That's a really good jump scare.
Mhm.
The chief of police,
Sheriff Brackett.
what's it? Sheriff Brackett.
Carl
That's a great
Cypher,
jump scare.
he just passed
Yeah.
away.
Yeah.
So that's a great jump scare, right? But
Everyone
if you watch it again, you'll notice it's super bright and sunny.
Mhm.
Bright and sunny. And they cut back. When she's walking to her house, it had just poured. Like everything's covered in rain. Everything's covered in water. Like
Yeah, I
it
did
just
notice
rained.
that the streets are wet and then dry
Yeah.
and then wet. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's a
So
line
I
there
mean,
that
what?
there's a line there that I never understood, where she sees the trick-or-treaters and she says, "Well, kiddo, it looks like or I thought you outgrew superstition." Like, what does that even mean?
Maybe just
That's a
being
good question.
scared.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
Like
That always bothered me because it's like, what the fuck are you even talking about?
their superstition could be like the being afraid that there's a monster around the corner, it's gonna jump out at her or something.
I don't know.
My guess.
Listen, we all know how Naylor feels about
Yeah.
Yeah.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not a big fan of hers either, but Matt has a hatred.
Yeah. Anybody could have played that role.
What's that?
Anyone could have played that role.
But she's the daughter.
Yeah. She's the daughter of, go ahead.
Him being such a huge, the girl from Psycho
Yep. Janet
in the
Leigh.
shower scene, but he's such a huge fan of Hitchcock. That was probably like a huge thing on his, checklist. Like, oh,
So great. Your mom was in this great horror film and I don't know. And then she's
She
just
was
got
awesome.
this fucking attitude. Don't get me started on this.
Yeah, let's keep with the movie.
Let's save that for Scream Queens. How about that?
Yes, that's a good call. Yes. I agree with that one.
Like, A Fish Called Wanda was so fucking good.
Okay, so
Your Activia commercials.
So we're talking about the whole we skipped the Michael breaking out of the institution.
Mhm.
Yes.
Talking about that. Yeah, that was the scene I was talking about earlier where Loomis is drunk when they're filming it.
Right.
That scene, I watched that scene so many times as a kid. Before there was DVDs and hitting pause and slow-mo stuff, I had to rewind a VHS tape, play, pause, play, pause, play, pause, because I wanted to see Michael's face.
Mhm.
The way he jumps up on the car and climbs up top of it. Like, you see like a split second of him going up there, but you can't see his face.
It's blurry.
Mhm.
Yeah. But I would do that for the longest time. Like you thought you saw Jason's face in that, that mask or whatever,
Yeah.
that thing. and when I did that on a VHS tape, and you mess up, and you're like, oh, hit rewind, and the batteries wouldn't work, so we rewind for 15 minutes of the movie, and then I gotta.
Yeah, yeah.
But I did that so many times for that scene where he jumped on top of the car because I could have swore that you saw his face in that scene.
That was
On the-
Castle who played that role,
Yep.
and then played the shape throughout the film, along with a bunch of other people.
So on the 4K, you can't see it.
And you can see the wrench in his hand that he uses to break the.
You can see the wrench in his hand.
Oh, really?
Mhm.
I haven't.
Yeah.
I have not seen that. Nice.
Like I could almost tell you it's like a 9/16 wrench. It's so crystal clear.
Wow. I'm gonna have to go back and watch that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I mean, you can tell it's candy glass, all that stuff. So I have something really cool that I learned about that scene that you guys might not know. So that's where we see your shirt, right? That was the first red herring, right, Stevie? We see the matchbook. We see the
did they show the
matchbook that
matchbook
said
in that part? Yeah. Oh, yeah. When
they
she
do.
smokes in the
Yeah.
car. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. The Red Rabbit Lounge, right?
Mm-hmm.
They show that for the first time in the car. So, do you guys know about the car? Them driving in the car.
Well, tell us, and then I'll tell you if we knew it.
The only
Okay.
thing I mean, I don't know anything specific. No, go ahead.
So they're not actually driving at all.
Really?
So they did what is called, I guess, poor man's process. And they used that garage again. So this is me coming back to the garage. What they did was they had the rain or whatever, and I don't know exactly what they do, but the way they explained it was they use lighting and kind of shaking up the car in a certain way to represent driving.
Yeah, and if you
To
can
make it look,
that you can't see anything through the window, like outside, it's all so black.
it's also black. So it's all taking place in that garage that you're talking about.
That's cool.
And they love, and they're and the guys were talking about it, they're like, they loved how it turned out. And I'm like, I would have never known. Like I thought they were
No.
driving.
Yeah.
You know, or
That's
at least they were on like you know how like they usually don't drive cars, they have a, you know, something driving them, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, they said that they did what's called poor man's process, which they shake the car in a certain way and have lighting a certain way where it looks like they're, you know, driving, and the rain the way it was coming in, to make it look like they were driving, and
That's
it
awesome.
turned out that way. Yeah, yeah, I thought that was really cool.
Heck yeah. Yeah,
But
I did not know that.
yeah, but yeah, they talked about, you know, the wrench. You can see the wrench in the high definition. You know, it doesn't cut anything away from it. It's still really cool when he jumps up on the car and
Yeah, I
he
love that.
takes the
That
car.
sound. That
Oh yeah, and again, that's another sound, you know, that we only hear that sound once in the movie. But that's another little sound piece that's put in there
it
that
worked
makes
great.
it works perfectly.
I love those 70s sound effects.
What's that?
I love the 70s sound effects,
Oh yeah.
especially.
Yeah.
So since this is our introduction to Dr. Loomis, right? Like this is the first time we really see him, get to know who he is and whatnot. Do you guys know who they wanted to play who their first choice was for Dr. Loomis before they went with Donald Pleasance?
I knew this, but I don't remember now.
There was
Yeah,
two people. They wanted Peter Cushing and they wanted Christopher Lee, but they just didn't have it in the budget. I guess Peter later on down the road and stuff, he said that's one of his biggest regrets of life. The biggest kick in the pants he gives himself was not being in that movie because they wouldn't pay him enough.
No, I
it
don't
wouldn't have
know.
worked.
I could see Christopher Lee. I don't know, Peter Cushing. I guess I could see it.
I don't know, but but then again, I'm biased because we already have that vision of Dr. Loomis, you know.
Yeah.
Like I just can't see anyone else doing that.
Happy accident.
Oh, but yeah.
So what do you guys think about the rest of the characters? What?
Well,
I'm not talking about Jamie Lee Curtis, but you know, like we could talk about Jamie Lee Curtis. they I think they developed everyone in a way that you care about them. Not
It's okay with that.
not a lot, but they did a really good job at showing like the daily life of the teenager at that time, I thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, with Linda, PJ Souls, she had an awesome role.
Totally.
Totally. And
Totally.
Annie, who was played by Nancy Loomis, Jamie Lee Curtis, she played Laurie Strode well.
She did. Yep.
I think any they could have swapped.
Yeah.
I think that any three of those actresses could have swapped the three roles. You know, like Nancy Loomis could have been Laurie Strode.
Mm-hmm.
Amy Lee Curtis could have been Linda. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Well, you know how Annie got her part, Loomis, right? Like, I don't know if she was in a relationship or married at the time, but she was with Tommy Wallace.
Yeah.
Yes.
They got married. PJ Souls, though, her character was actually written for her. I heard that John Carpenter watched Carrie and liked her performance in Carrie so much that he had to work with her. So she wasn't even supposed to be in the movie. That character wasn't supposed to be in there, but he like wrote it in there specifically for her just to get her in this movie, I guess.
Now, was she dating Dennis Quaid at the time?
Yes.
And he was supposed to be Bob, but he had something else going on, so he couldn't play that role.
I didn't know that, but I didn't
know that.
I did hear the story about Dennis Quaid almost fighting someone in the theater for the premiere of the movie.
What, when they show her boobs?
Yeah, because he like someone yelled something in it, like, you know, can I get your ghost? He goes, yeah, you can, or something like that.
Oh.
I guess they were like sitting right in front of them, and he was ready to go off on him, but he asked her first. She's like, no, it's funny, it's fine, you know, and calmed back down. But he was ready to jump the guy for commenting on that or making the comments that he was making during the premiere.
Yeah, chill out.
Yeah, a little bit, right? But yes, I agree. I think the characters are fantastic. They did a wonderful job at getting them in there. They did a great job at, you know, okay, so Jamie Lee Curtis was like the only teenager, I believe, while filming this movie. The girls, the other ones were older than her, but I believe I think she was like 18 or 19 when they did this movie. And I mean, yeah, I think that they like between their conversations, phone calls, everything, it definitely, like you said, day in the life of a teenager at the time, you know. I mean, who needs books anyways?
I always forget my books.
I always forget my book.
Yeah.
And I also
she did have
really
2
like,
books. Go ahead.
the two kids, Kyle Richards, who grew up to be I don't know what she's, some Real Housewife or something.
Yeah.
And then Brian Andrews, who played Tommy Doyle. I like their characters a lot too.
Yeah.
Tommy gets on my nerves a little bit towards the end, but it's
He
not.
does.
But it's not so much. He gets on my nerves like a little kid will get on your nerves in real life. You know,
Yeah.
like a little kid overacted.
On him across the room, but he was just, you know, that's how kids act.
So I don't fault it. I don't say it's bad, but you know, he's supposed to be on your nerves, I guess, at that point. But yeah, there's a couple scenes where I'm just like, ugh.
And jumping forward, there's one scene I actually love, and it's when she's like telling him, like, Tommy, open the door, and he's like, okay.
Yeah.
And, like, you can, like, I love it because he's not like, oh, okay, like, all, like, you could, I mean, the kid just woke up, so he's like,
Okay.
all right, whatever.
And
Like,
then he opens the door. Lori, I'm scared. I'm scared, Lori.
they're like, listen, kid. But it was great the way he answered her, because
Yeah.
he just literally woke up, and I mean, kids sleep really soundly, so I don't know. That part always like gets
That
me.
builds the tension because you know his little ass isn't hurrying down the stairs.
Yeah, exactly. Although he gets down there real fast.
Yeah.
That's that scene. And they reused it in the sequel in Halloween 2 in a different way. But Michael coming from one house and then walking across the street in the neighborhood we grew up in, like that's the neighborhood that we grew up in. And I would always
Yeah.
think about that, like when I would be coming home at night, because like we grew up in the 80s and 90s, and like we'd be out in the middle of the night
Yep.
getting
Yeah.
in the house, and I would always think about like from what if somebody's like over by Rudy's house and he's walking this way. I got to hurry up and get in the house. That messed me up for years.
Yeah.
So that
That's
was
a great neighborhood.
very effective scene, and it shoots, and he's like, oh, he's far away. He's getting closer. He's getting closer. Then you start seeing his mask, and it's like, oh God, she's
shit.
never gonna make it. But she makes.
Man. All right. Well, we officially jumped all over the place. So
We did.
that's fun.
We
Yeah,
did.
we always do that.
Let's go back to the character thing. We were like them. Now, it's not really a character. Another tidbit, which you probably know, Mike, it's probably in your notes, I would assume, but when Annie's boyfriend calls to talk to her on the phone, at the beginning when she's all gets locked in the laundry room and stuff, and she's all, and then he calls and talks to Lindsay as well. Do you know who that is,
I don't.
Matt? It's John Carpenter. Like that's like his part in the movie. Like he's on the phone talking to Lindsay and Annie.
Can we talk about the elephant in the room in that phone conversation
Which part?
where Paul is flirting with Annie, and Annie's like, I'm watching Lindsay, and he was like, oh, that's okay. We can get Lindsay naked, and then you can get naked, and it's like, what the?
Oh yeah.
Hold on, time out. So, all right. So I never noticed this. So my buddy Kyle, right?
Mhm.
He goes, when you watch it, they're in the van. It's in the van.
Oh, that's right. It's Bob.
Bob and
It's Bob. And he goes, listen to what Bob says. And I go, all right. So then I listen to it, and he goes, all right, so we get you naked, then we get Lindsay naked, and then it was one of those things that I guess I just never it just never clicked. And then when he said pay attention, and I was like, wait a second. Wait, he's talking about Lindsay. Wait, hold on. Because I'm thinking Annie. Like I'm just thinking Annie in my head, right? And I was like, holy crap, what the hell is he talking about?
It's
Now,
weird.
you think that was an accident?
I don't know what it was, but bro, the girl's like 8 years old. What?
Right.
I don't know.
He had to mean Annie, right?
You would hope.
He had to.
You would hope so.
You would hope.
You would really hope so.
So I just think that that's a mistake that wasn't caught because,
That makes sense. If he meant to say, well, we can get Annie naked and then you can get naked. Okay, then it's like, okay, he's making a joke. But
yeah, the Lindsay, again, I think it's a complete mistake because it's something that we didn't even like. I literally had never caught that.
Not until like later on. Like, yeah, I didn't catch it then, but yeah, when I got older and stuff, I did. I was like, I don't know where.
Again, until my buddy Kyle, when I watched it 3 times the other day, I was like, holy crap! Like it finally because it was just you see a movie so many times, you just kind of you're listening, but you're not listening.
Mhm.
Which again, and I always say this, which makes me happy that we're doing this because I'm actually watching these movies with an analytical eye again, and for better or for worse, right? So And
Yeah.
he told me, he goes, you got to watch it and you got to pay attention. I'm like, holy crap! And it was one of those things that we wouldn't catch it because why would we? Like why? Because our brains aren't like that.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's very weird.
And I think, like, the first time I saw that movie, I was so young. So young. I was probably, I don't know, 6 or 7 years old. I probably didn't understand what any of it meant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm. Yeah.
So yeah, I misspoke. It was Bob talking to Linda in the van, and not
Yeah.
Paul and Annie, but
Yeah. Doesn't make it better.
No, it's still
So,
in there.
yeah.
It's always on TV, and they don't even cut it out on TV. They still leave it on there, like AMC and stuff. They still leave it on there, so you have this like dirty pedophile guy.
Really weird. Yeah, I'm telling you, people don't just. And in the commentaries that I watched, they didn't even mention it. I don't.
Wow.
I don't know.
So they do conventions. Maybe the next time they're at a convention, I'll go to the table and just straight up ask. Like,
Yeah.
because Bob does conventions now, so you can get up, get his. I just be like, bro, what in the fuck are you talking about here?
PJ does a lot of them too, so
Yeah.
whichever one we see first, one of us need to bring
Just
that
be
up.
like, I know you've probably been asked this, but I need to know.
Yeah.
All right.
I don't know if you know this, but I have 300 followers.
Yeah. They're all my
Utterly
friends.
fantastic.
A character that didn't get developed, hasn't been developed yet in any of the sequels, that I wish they would have. So you have that when Loomis is going to look in the graveyard, and you have that the groundskeeper walking with them, and the groundskeeper is just babbling, and I never really paid attention to what he was saying until, I don't know, until I got older, and I watched this movie 1,000 times, and I started listening to what he was saying, and he's telling a story about a guy named Charlie Bowles, normal guy, finishes his dinner, goes out to the garage or the shed or whatever, comes in and murders his entire family. I wish that somewhere in the Halloween universe they would use that as some sort of a prequel, like the evil was in Charlie Bowles, and then somehow, and I don't want to talk about the sequels, but they kind of did that with ends in a weird, shitty way, like the evil was past.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
I don't know. I wish they would talk about it more or bring it up somewhere.
I had an idea like that as well, but not your route, because that would have been awesome. But what they like Halloween 3, how they did it completely different and everything for a whole different theme and everything. I always thought that would be one of the cool movies to make for the Halloween thing, just tell that story, make it a whole movie.
Yeah. Well, that's with John Carpenter. He kind of wanted to do that, and that's why he went off the rails on Halloween 3 and made it something completely different. But everybody was so pissed that Michael wasn't in it that they had to bring it back for the sequels. But
that was Wallace, right?
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yeah, didn't he do that one?
Yeah.
He had a big part in that one. Mm-hmm.
But yeah, not to jump into a different one, but I agree with you. That's a really cool idea as far as the evil passing it. I didn't even think of it that route. That would have been
kind of what I always thought.
Maybe,
that evil's out there, and it just jumped from Charlie Bowles to Michael somehow, or who knows.
So maybe if they would have continued that idea of Halloween being different movies, they would have done that.
Yeah,
that would have been awesome. That would have been a good idea.
Yeah, maybe they'll watch this and they'll be like, you know what? Those guys are talking my language.
Somebody will take the idea, go make $1 million, and then we'll have 320 followers.
There you go.
There you go, right?
319. We'll lose somebody.
So the house, real quick, the house is in Pasadena, California.
You've
They
been there,
actually,
right?
yeah, I have been there. They moved the house, so they picked the house up from its original position and moved it close to where the hardware store is. So like where it is now is right next to where the hardware store is. So where Annie and Lori pull up and Sheriff Brackett is inside and the alarm's going off.
It's on like a corner, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Almost.
And it's weird. It's like office buildings now. I don't know why they wouldn't use that as like a historical Halloween museum or something.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that would be cool.
I mean, at least it still exists. That's pretty cool.
It does. You can walk right up, you know, if it's not business hours and take your picture.
That's cool.
But not a lot of
Yeah.
people realize that that hardware store is right next door to it. And Lori's house is still there with the stoop, and she sits on the stoop with her pumpkin. Right across the street from that is a bench that says in memory of Mustafa Akkad.
Oh,
And
cool.
it's kind of cool. Like most people are so distracted by Lori's house, they don't bother to look across the street, but there's a memorial to
Oh, that's cool.
her there.
That's pretty cool. I mean, that whole neighborhood looks like it's a really cool neighborhood.
It
You
is.
know, like a northern neighborhood, which is wild.
And it's very Halloween friendly. So if you go to that neighborhood, like Lori's house, they have pumpkins all year around. So you can take a pumpkin off their porch and go and pose with it. And there's just a sign that says, please don't steal the pumpkins.
Yeah.
There's like pictures of behind the scenes that they have posted up. So
That's
they
really cool.
embrace it.
So one thing I read was that the pumpkin, so I mean, when they filmed the movie, it wasn't
Wasn't
fall,
Halloween.
obviously. So I heard two different things. One thing was they had to find pumpkins and it was really hard. The second thing I heard was that they painted squashes. So I don't know what's true.
See, I
But
heard something like that too. But I heard it was and it could be squashes that they're talking about. But they said like the pumpkins weren't ripe yet, so they had to paint. You know, and that was only a few of them. I was reading something said they had like 4 or 5 pumpkins that were actually, you know, carved and looked the way they did for the shoot.
Yeah.
And I believe the one that they painted that was green, they painted orange, was the one that gets broken.
Okay. At the beginning.
When Tommy
Well,
gets tripped
yeah,
and falls.
Tommy, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And they did that because they had to paint it to do that because they only had these so many pumpkins for the movie. They couldn't get them, you know, to break, so they had to paint these pumpkins orange or these squashes or whatever orange to carve it to do that scene, because if they broke it, they would have been screwed. But yeah, I heard that as well, what you're saying.
Yeah.
Those kids were assholes.
Yes.
Oh, they were.
Blondie,
They were.
fucking asshole kids.
Get away.
But again, they were kids.
Tommy.
They were, and it's funny because they were kids of all the people that were part of the movie,
Yeah.
which is funny.
That school is still there.
So
Kind of the same. Like you see that.
Yeah.
If you go to that school, you can see that hallway, that outdoor hallway that, you know, Tommy runs down and falls.
is
But
that fence still there?
It's a different fence now.
Okay.
But yeah,
That's pretty cool.
looks the same.
Wow. That'd be cool.
So going to another part of the music, right? So when Annie and Lori are in the car, again, this is something you guys probably know, but there was a song playing.
Don't Fear the Reaper by Blue Oyster Cult.
Well, no, that one, but there was another song playing.
Oh, beforehand.
Yes.
Yeah, that was John Carpenter.
Yeah. What were they called?
It was John Carpenter, Nick Castle. I can't remember what the name of what they called their band.
So they named it after John Carpenter's car, which is in the Strode's driveway. So when they go when Lori walks home and the car's in the driveway, that's John Carpenter's car, and it's a Cadillac Coupe de Ville. So the name of the band was the Coupe de Villes,
Yeah.
and they had a hit song. Do you guys know what their hit song was?
No.
What was it?
It was one of It was on one of John Carpenter's movies. Big Trouble in Little China. So
Was it?
Really?
they sang the song. They sang the title track to Big Trouble in Little China, which was John Carpenter's movie.
That's awesome.
Dude,
I did
Yeah,
not
that's
know that.
them.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
So apparently a lot of the crew's cars are within the movie.
I mean, that makes sense to save money.
Can't find a place to
Yeah.
park them too, so why not use them?
Yeah. So Carpenter's car, and then there was a part where it was the one guy's like Volkswagen Beetle was in the shot.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if anybody had the station wagon, but
Who owned that sweet van?
right. It's the van. It was the van from Texas Chainsaw Massacre.
Yeah.
So the development of Michael Myers or the Shape, what do you guys think of that? Do you like how he is? I mean, I thought Nick Castle played him perfectly. He played him in a way that I love that he wasn't huge and bulking. You know, he just looked like a regular dude who was just crazy.
Yeah.
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 I like the way he moved very smoothly with a purpose. And I mean, acting with a mask on is probably a little nuts, but when Bob gets it, and I'm sick of seeing the head tilt now. Because like everybody who cosplays Michael stands there and looks at you and does the head tilt, and I'm like, yeah, I get it. But when you see that in that film and you're like a kid, or the first time you see it and you never seen it before, it's like, oh, this motherfucker's crazy.
Yeah.
Like he's
Yeah.
yeah, but then he kills Bob against the wall, and then just kind of like tilts his head like a dog. Like
Yeah.
for Nick Castle to think to do that, I thought that was really cool.
Yeah.
See, I don't think he did. I think Carpenter, from what I've heard, Carpenter told him to do that.
Well, whatever it is, it was a great idea. I
Yeah.
love it. I love how he just kind of stands there and
Yeah.
like I don't know if he's admiring his work or what the purpose of that scene is, but
So I know Castle was the main shape.
yeah.
So a question I have: how many people in the first movie had a hand in the shape? So I know Castle. I know the face of the guy was a different guy. I can't remember his name.
Tony Moran, whose sister is Erin Moran from Happy Days.
Okay, so that was two. I also heard that punching through the closet was one of the guys.
Tommy Lee Wallace.
Yes, I think that was him. So I think he was the one that punched through the closet.
I think he played the shape a couple times in it also, other than that.
Yeah. I mean,
Deborah
Deborah Hill played, Deborah Hill. So, I mean, what are we thinking? Are we thinking 4, 5?
Jim Winburn was another guy. He was a stunt guy. Is that what his name was?
Okay.
Jim
I
Winburn.
think, yeah.
Oh, at the end, one of the parts at the end when he jumped off the porch.
That might have been him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Whatever it is, I got his autograph on my poster somewhere.
So what are we thinking? Like 5 or 6 people?
Probably, yeah. Probably.
Yeah. Which, by the way, so I know again I'm still jumping back and forth, but one of my favorite parts is there's 2 parts. So one of the parts is when you see when you see Annie's house and you see the shape, that's an iconic photo, right? Like an iconic. I think didn't Mondo do
Yeah, they did
really
two posters at the same time, and it's very dark, and it's basically Michael standing there by the house, and I want to say he's like holding probably one of the bodies. I don't know.
holding Annie?
It's probably Annie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, there's one where he's just standing there, right? Which is amazing. But going to the Annie where he's walking Annie, that's another thing about the music, right?
Mhm.
They use the music from the movie playing on the TV, that the Alien movie.
The Thing.
Yeah.
No, was it The Thing at that time? Because she
It
was
was
what
the
I
thing
guess
from
it could.
the Thing from Outer Space or something like that. It was titled then, and then John Carpenter
Yeah.
remade it as The Thing later.
Yeah.
Completely different type of film, but
Yeah, but they used the music from that in that part. It
Mhm.
was like a weird kind of like I don't even know how to explain it. But it's not considered part of the soundtrack.
Hmm.
But I still liked it how it fit, right?
Yeah.
But that's those scenes, and that has to go with the lighting. The lighting in the movie is amazing.
Mhm.
It's
Yeah, oh, yeah.
dark, but it's not too dark. You can still see everything. You know, like just the blue, like you were saying earlier, the blue tint
Yeah, it's a
coming
cold,
through.
it's a cold lighting. So it gives you that feel that it's chilly.
Yeah.
It's very shadow friendly, which works
Mhm.
great on the Shape's mask, like lighting it from one side, or when he comes in from the dark and his face slowly comes through that hallway right
Oh,
behind.
that part is ridiculous. That part is fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
that's
mean, they read
best shots in any horror film.
Yes.
yeah, they redid that in the Strangers Pray at Night, but
And
that part
they
is
tried to
amazing.
redo it. This annoyed the fuck out of me. They tried to do it in Halloween 2018 by reversing the roles and having Jamie Lee
Oh
Curtis.
yes.
Like, oh, can we get rid of this chick?
Ah, I love it.
Ugh,
But
nobody cares about Freaky Friday.
oh, Matt's gonna go on a tangent. I better bring up something. Let's see what else I got here. I know I got more here. Um, so okay, all right. So I have a question for you guys. One part that it always seems very out of place for me, and I don't know, it doesn't bother people, but for whatever reason, it always bothers me. And I don't know why. It's when Michael uh comes up to TJ Soul's character, um and he puts the sheet over himself and puts the glasses on.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I don't know why that part always bothers me. I'm like, I don't see, I never picture him going through that amount of trouble to do that whole thing.
I absolutely love it.
I mean, I know people love it. People love
But
it, but every
I'll
time I
tell you
see
why.
it, I think to myself, like, I don't know. He's not gonna, he wouldn't do that.
But he would, because the whole
I,
movie he's wearing a mask. So he went through the trouble of getting these coveralls and putting a Halloween mask on because it's Halloween. And for whatever reason he loves Halloween, right? Well, now he has an opportunity to like costume up twice and like I'm going to trick this chick into thinking I'm her boyfriend to get closer to like it's in his crazy brain like this all makes good sense. Like
You
that's
gotta
something
put it.
you got
You
a
gotta.
sheet on top of a Halloween mask. That's perfect. Like
You
that's
gotta put
crazy.
it in aspect too. It's this movie. you can't think of the other ones with this. We're talking about Halloween 1, He doesn't have
Yeah.
like a setup yet, so to speak,
He doesn't have a baseline. I get it. Yeah.
So yeah, he was just I think it's a good idea. He just was trying to sneak up next to her, not show any fear, but scare her away or anything. I think it worked great. That
Maybe-
might have been why he
I-
was tilting his head earlier. He was studying him. He was like thinking
wa-
about that.
he was.
Good idea.
I don't know. I don't know. Every time I see it, it's weird to me that he puts on, like, maybe he just had the sheet, but then he puts the glasses on, like it's almost comical. Like,
I love it.
It always gives
I
me
know.
chills watching that scene because her filing her nails, that noise just makes my teeth.
now I do love that the second half of that scene with the phone, and then she pulls it off, and it's the close up. That close up is awesome. That's
one of the few
fantastic.
times I
Just
get that close up.
yes. That's one. That's awesome.
Pausing the tape
Um,
just so I could get a really good look at the mask.
Yeah. And I'm sure a lot of people use that part to create the new masks.
No, for sure.
I'm
And
sure. Right?
they'll even try to recreate that scene with the mask looking down. Yeah, absolutely.
So you talked about the coveralls, right?
Mhm.
So that's a scene that's kind of glazed over a lot of the time. But that's really his. I mean, outside of the first kill, him as a kid, that's his first kill. It's the second kill in the movie by him, right?
Yep.
So do you guys know who that is that plays that part?
The truck driver, the tow truck driver.
Yeah.
No.
Mhm.
No, who played the tow truck driver?
All right. So hold on. Let me find it. Talk amongst yourselves. Okay, I got it. So the guy that you see in the field his name is Barry Bernardi. I don't know if that means anything to you. It didn't mean anything to me. But then I looked it up. He produced Halloween 2 and 3. And he also has produced almost all of Adam Sandler's movies.
Oh, really?
Oh wow.
Yeah. Yeah. So apparently he's a major dude.
Wow.
But that was his scene. The guy laying in the field.
Huh.
Barry Bernardi. So I looked him up and I was like, oh, he produces every single, like, it was just Adam Sandler movies. And then Halloween 2 and 3 were just kind of mixed in there. There were some other movies too that he's done, but it was mostly Adam Sandler movies.
Is he still alive?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah, he's producing Happy Gilmore too.
There you go.
Yeah, I didn't know that. That's cool.
Yeah. So I thought that was really cool. So what is your favorite scene in the movie? Because I feel like this movie has a lot because of the way they shoot different scenes. They do a lot of I feel there's a lot of really iconic scenes. I feel just off the top of my head, you have the hedge scene where you see him. You have the house scene where you see a shadow of him. You have the clothesline scene. You have the scene where she's looking out of the school where he's standing by the car. You have the scene where he's in the closet. So what is your favorite scene?
I have two
I
that really
guess.
stand out to me.
Yeah, I
I
have two.
like the closet scene at the end. That's always been like one of my faves. Like just like not only just that part, but like him, the sit up that he does after.
The sit up. The sit up. All right. Yeah, you can put that all together. That makes sense.
So that scene and the scene on Matt's shirt there, I absolutely love that part of the movie. after, when he comes out when Lori's in the house. He's standing atop the stairs, he cuts her, whatever, and she
Yeah.
goes down the steps and he's standing there with that knife. I don't know why. That part always stood out to me. I really like that. Then he takes that walk down the steps. It's just like, oh my
Yep.
God.
Which Matt's house is that's like it was made for it. I think that's
Yeah.
why he would never. I think that's why he would never move from that house, because his stairs is so perfect.
It's
It is.
the exact same setup. So I'll show you. Maybe I'll put a picture in. But
You should.
so I got like three of my favorite scenes. The one is that part that looks like my hallway, where they run upstairs and then Michael is upstairs with them, and it's like they're trapped up here.
She's sitting there talking with them, right? And he comes up behind her.
Yeah, I love that
Yeah.
scene. My favorite scene, I think, is when he's crossing the street together, because that's so it just builds so much anxiety in a young me. I was so freaked out by that, and then coming from the shadows behind her through that door. I always love that scene.
Yeah.
What about you?
I think the shadows, coming from the shadows, is my number one. I think it's so well done, and it doesn't happen right away. Like the way it fades in is just awesome.
Yeah.
And then just the setting up is and then the closet, because you, again, like you said, you have nowhere to go. You're in that closet and he's right there and you have nowhere to go. I mean, the way she fashioned something out of a hanger real fast is I mean, suspend disbelief, I guess. But that was pretty great.
Him being over top like that, just breaking everything to get to her. I mean, that's just, man, that'd be scary.
Yeah, oh yeah. But as far as a still photo that I would want is that house with just his silhouette. Like, I couldn't imagine looking out my window and just seeing that across the street as a little kid.
Yeah.
Scary.
Damn.
I love that artwork on that. Is it the record where it's like a pumpkin, but for like the mouth of the pumpkin and stuff, it's that silhouette. It's like that scene. It's like the house and him.
I don't know. I was looking for that scene for the pinball machine that I made, but I couldn't find it.
You probably could have found the Mondo print.
Yeah, but the way I had to do it, if it got expanded, it would get blurry. It was a whole thing. Anyways.
What about your favorite kill?
Favorite kill?
So I go back and forth on this. I think my favorite kill's in the car.
When he kills Annie?
Yeah, because there's really no music to it. And it's very enclosed and it's slow. And my favorite part of that is outside the car. So you see it like it's kind of foggy.
So Stevie, you're gonna have to refresh my memory. They shot that kill twice, right?
Yeah.
And one is with a bag over the head, and wasn't the other one like a stabbing?
Yeah.
So they shot it. I don't know why they did that. Maybe for the TV, for the made for television.
I don't know if it was for the television, because it might have been. Yeah, it's an extra scene. But I mean, they're trying to PG it down, so I don't know why they would do it for that.
Yeah, I don't know, but I think there were two different Annie kills.
Yeah, there were two different Annie kills, but I don't know why they did the two different Annie kills, though. I don't know the reasoning behind it.
What's your favorite kill?
Oh boy. There's not many in it. You only have a couple to really go by, so I'll probably go with because you already said Annie, so I'll go with Lynn.
You can say Annie too.
Well, they're both like the reason why I like the other one is just because like the whole scene leading up to it, but how he's choking her and Lori's on the other line just listening to her friend die. But she's thinking it's something else.
Mine's
That's
gonna be
Yeah. Oh,
it's
yeah.
pretty eerie.
yeah.
That's
And she pulls it off, and his mask, like,
yeah, yeah. I like that one.
My least favorite kill is the dog,
Yeah,
yeah,
which I heard they had a dog handler and they basically shot it in slow-mo, and the dog
Yep.
they like, holding the dog, and he just let the dog like down and
yep.
shot that slow-mo, so it made it look like the dog was dead. But still, you don't fuck with dogs.
that's rough.
That is,
Yeah. He,
I see what you did there.
What's your favorite?
oh, that's rough. I
Mine's
gotta go to the
Linda.
bathroom. I gotta go to the bathroom real quick.
Mine's Linda. Are you fucking kidding me?
No, I'm not kidding. Pause it.
Pause. All right, so we were talking. We want to hit real quick the made for TV cut.
Hold
So
on. What was your favorite kill?
I told
You
you,
didn't
Linda,
say.
when
Who?
Linda got killed
Okay.
with the ghost sheet that you hated.
Yeah. Wait, so you like the one that Stevie likes?
Yeah, we can like the same
So
one.
huh?
We can like the same one.
Oh, well, I know, but Stevie was like, I can't say Annie because you said it.
Yeah, well, I'm saying I don't care what you said. I'm saying Linda.
So, I mean, the other iconic one was Bob's, right? So,
Yeah.
but none of us. I mean, it's
It's
still
a
a
cool
great. That's
scene.
still a great. It's a
Yeah.
great kill, though.
It is, but it is. That whole Linda scene, just the way it's put together, and you're looking at, like I said, she's listening to her like one of her best friends being murdered, not even knowing it.
Yeah,
It's just really
for
messed
sure.
up scene. But yeah, I mean, it's hard to really say the best because they're all good.
Yep.
Okay, so they made around the time where they made Halloween 2, they made a they had to add in scenes for the TV cut, right? And I think it was like 35 extra minutes or something like that.
I'm not sure how long it was.
But
Yeah.
there was a scene where Loomis goes up in front of the courts to talk about how Michael shouldn't be released, and then there's it's a lot of filler, really. But there's the one scene in there where Lori is calling Annie, I think, from her room, and we talked about this in Nightmare on Elm Street, where that room and that house that she's calling from is actually the Nightmare on Elm Street house.
Oh yeah.
In that scene, not in the other scenes, but and then I think that's where the different Annie death came in. I would have to look. I'd have to watch it, but I'm pretty sure she gets stabbed in that one.
Radio.
But she gets the plastic bag over the head in the theater. So Halloween has spawned a ton of books, comic books.
You're
Video.
leaving out a couple more scenes that were on the TV series, the TV one though.
What else?
There was that when I forget if she's dreaming or not, but when she was younger, come up and it said sister on the door or whatever. He had written
yeah,
and he's
yeah.
staring
I
out the
remember.
window, not talking as a little kid.
Yep.
There was that one.
That was a different actor that played that young Michael.
Yeah. That might have been it. That might have been it. But that scene always stood out the most to me though for the TV one. Was him like sitting there staring out the window and you're finding out that he has a sister.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Yeah. And that's kind of how they tied Halloween 2 in. But so it spawned some comic books. It spawned novels. There was a novelization of Halloween. There's a new novelization that it's a illustrated novelization.
Nice.
You can get that still on the website.
Nice.
But
That's cool.
back in the day, Atari came out with a Halloween game. Mike, would you like to show us what that looks
Oh,
like?
you want to see it?
Yeah, let me see
Yeah.
it.
All right.
See, I never played the Atari Halloween game. I played Texas Chainsaw, but I
Mhm.
never played Halloween.
Um,
It-
so I'll show it to you. I have another thing about the movie, but I'll show this real quick.
yeah, show us.
So Atari, yeah, came out. Atari 2600 came out with the Halloween movie. Now I don't know if it was ever sanctioned by Atari, but it definitely came out. It has the music. Let's see if I can get this here. All right, let's see. So if I turn it up, so we got that.
I can't really hear
So
them.
you're Laurie Strode. There's Michael. Yeah, coming out. Oh, so I got to run away from Michael.
It's kind of like Pitfall, but with Michael.
It
And
is.
then here he comes. Oh, somehow Michael ended up over here. So if I run away from Michael again,
Let him catch you.
cuts off my head.
Did we cut off your head?
He cut off my head. So look,
Oh yeah, there she's running around without it. You gotta. I forgot. So you have to like go and collect the kids and take them to safety.
yeah, I had to save the kids.
That's awesome. It went by the babysitter killer then.
Yeah. Man, Atari was so simple back then. There he goes again.
Oh, here we go. Got it. I can't save the kid.
Yeah, sorry,
And
kid.
then, oh, sorry, kid. You're gonna die.
You running the wrong way, dummy.
The kid's dead.
That's
And I
awesome.
cut my head off.
Wow.
So
That would-
what else were you gonna say about the movie?
That's awesome.
So anyway,
That's so good.
the music doesn't start till Meyer shows up.
So I did hear it for this with this movie, you know, they do the whole sin factor thing that they make a big deal about and Scream about the sin factor, you know, that's why Laurie lives and stuff. I heard that was never intended. That was never an idea for this movie.
Yeah, I heard that same thing.
They said the only thing was maybe the only reason why the other ones died that happened to be doing that was because they were preoccupied, not paying attention. But it was never what, you know, Wes Craven brought it up to be in Scream.
Yep.
Or the other films.
Yeah, I heard that same thing.
Yeah.
Which is too bad. I wish Laurie would have got killed.
You know, that's my favorite death scene.
When Laurie gets killed?
Yeah. I just think that through all the time when I watch that movie.
I get her.
Yeah. It's a great kill.
So what were you gonna bring up about the film?
How about when they fight in the kitchen and she kills him and then throws him in a meat grinder? Oh wait, that's Halloween Ends. My bad. Spoiler alert.
All right. Scale of 1 to 10 videotape.
Well, hold on. I really do have something else.
Fucking spit it out.
All right, calm down. So I've never heard anybody talk about this. And again, it's one of those things that I don't really think it was on purpose. But I have to see things in the background, right? So you know when Lori's in her bedroom, right? And she's in her bedroom and she looks out the window and sees him by all the sheets or whatever, right?
Yeah.
You know that scene. So in her bedroom, there's a poster up on the wall. Do you kind of know what poster I'm talking about?
I don't really remember. I know there's a Raggedy Ann doll that you later see in the sequel.
There's a Raggedy Ann doll. Yeah, that's
There's a
You know,
hat
I'm
on the
I'm
wall.
sure there's no connection to like Annabelle or anything with that, but no, there's a poster and it says James Enzer.
Yeah. Yeah,
Okay.
he's like an artist known for like doing like masks or something, like
Yes.
pictures of masks.
Yeah. And one of his quotes was, he uses masks in his work to hide the real faces of people. Um, his quote is, for him, the mask is actually showing the person's true face.
Hmm.
So
Oh wow.
that's his quote, right? Again, is it something they put there on purpose? I don't know. It was a low budget movie. I don't think it's that deep, but it's
I
still
bet
kind
you
of
they
cool.
did. I bet you they did. I could see
It
that.
could have been.
That's
I
a
could
really
totally
cool.
see them putting in like a little tidbit thing like that in there.
Yeah.
That's a
You
So
cool.
never
James
know these
Esner,
artsy
yeah,
fartsy types, you know?
Enzer or something like, yeah. Which I thought was like, because I had to look. I was like, "There's all right. Why is there this thing that says James?" And then it literally says James Enzer on it. I was like, I got to look this guy up. And
Wow.
of course, it came back. All his artwork is putting people in masks
Hmm.
to show their true selves.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, which is cool.
That's deep, yo.
Yeah, yeah.
Do you guys know why he how he came up with the name Michael Myers? Why
No.
he named the
Because
killer Michael Myers?
from Wayne's World,
No,
he
no.
watched he watched Austin Powers.
I guess there was a guy in, I think it was England, that was a producer for one of the producers for Assault on Precinct 13. And it helped this guy had a big hand in getting it put in theaters out in England or whatever. So it was kind of like a tribute to this guy. His name was Michael Myers, so that's why he named him Michael Myers, you know, because it was just the shape. But then he came out and started using Michael Myers as a tribute to this guy.
That's kind of crazy. So now that guy is like forever known.
Yeah. I guess he always makes a joke like he wants his royalties, whatever, for it, you know. Thank you for putting my name in there. That was very nice, but where's my royalties, you know?
Right?
Now
But
people joke
That's
about my name all everywhere I go.
what's that?
Now people joke about his name everywhere he goes.
Yeah, right.
Oh, Michael Myers, like the movie.
Yep.
Yeah, actually.
Yep. Just middle name isn't Aubrey. But
so two more things. One thing I when watching it in 4K, the last scene with Lori. So Jamie Lee Curtis was saying right before that scene, she had fallen asleep on like a couch, and the couch was made of corduroy. And if you look at her face in that last scene with Loomis, uh, she's got the marks all on her face because she had just woken up.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can see it in the 4K version, which you're refusing to open, like it's going to be worth something,
Yeah, I'm not
but
open.
that's fine.
I'm keeping my HD DVD version sealed too.
Yeah. Oh man. So there's that, and then as I was watching the montage at the end of the movie when they're when they have him breathing and they're kind of showing still images, the knife is still in the living room,
Yeah, I noticed that.
yeah.
right? And so that's obviously a mistake.
Yep.
Yeah. So
Like
there's
an
not multiple knives.
error type of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, look, you suspend disbelief because there's a couple of errors in a movie that they really they made it on a strict budget, although we think of $300,000 as, I mean, it's a lot of money, but to
Yeah.
make a movie,
Yeah.
you know and to make a movie look like they did is really a feat. um
Change anything
his
about the
idea.
movie?
What's up?
Did you change anything about this movie?
Hmm.
I don't think so. I, I know what you would change.
I don't think I
I
don't
think
think
everybody knows what you would change, but you might not even change that part. But
I
You
don't
know,
think that I would change her either, though. I mean, now I would, but like watching it as a kid stuff and what she became and ignorance kind of makes me feel that way. But overall, watching that movie, no, I wouldn't change that.
I don't hate Laurie Strode. I don't like the the person that played her and the
Yeah.
way, you know, the way she kind of like
Became,
she became, and she kind of like turned her back on the franchise.
yeah,
We can talk about this in the Scream Queens thing, but like she didn't want to have anything to do with Halloween after the second one. She thought she was bigger than this, and like she doesn't do conventions. She doesn't really care that much about the fans, and she thinks that she's Halloween. Like people want to see Michael Myers. They want the evil to win. They don't want Michael to go into a wood chipper. You know, she
whoa.
she kind of shit on the franchise until like her career started going down, and then she's like, "Oh well, I'm gonna do H2O," and that was a big hit because Jamie Lee Curtis is back. You know, and then she came back for Resurrection, and she's like, "Well, I'm only coming back if you kill off my character. You know, I'll make a cameo." I don't know. It's like just embrace what made you.
Yeah.
I don't know. Whatever.
But I don't think you can change. I mean, even if you talk about the fact that they had the palm trees in the back or that they had, the green grass and the green trees, again, what, it, how are you going to change that? The time of year, it's California. Like,
You would have had
I
to shoot,
don't, I
shoot
don't,
the movie in the fall in the Midwest somewhere, and it wouldn't have had the same feel.
correct.
No, it would have been different houses. You wouldn't have had the Myers house.
yeah.
But the great thing about it is that it doesn't matter. Like,
Yeah,
none of that matters when you watch the movie. It doesn't,
Yeah.
like, even now knowing it, you see the palm trees. You don't care.
yeah. You
You
just
don't
put it in the
care
back of your
because
head.
the movie's that good.
Yep.
So I don't think you change anything. I think everything, all its flaws and everything are what make it great. Um, it was lightning in a bottle, you know. Halloween 2, again, we're not talking about that. It's still good, but you know, the original is the original for a reason.
I love it. I don't, what would you guys rate it? What would you give it? 0 to 10 on the videotape scale.
This will be a 9 for me.
So just 9.0.
I'm just gonna go flat 9.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna go halves this time. I'll just go flat 9.
You want? I'll let you go last. Oh gosh,
Pressure's on.
oh yeah, 9.8.
Damn. What? Jeez.
I mean, it's got everything in it. You have the old horror. This is definitely, you can see the step from Frankenstein and Dracula and that to these type of movies. You see like how he's trying to get out of that and make a different style horror, but then you also see where it is also going to and opening
Yeah,
up the doors for different ideas in movies. This movie is with the year we're in now and stuff, that this movie is as influential as Dracula, as the
yeah,
as the Wolfman.
and it still holds up. It always looks good. It doesn't look cheesy.
Yeah.
Um, You know,
I agree.
I'm gonna go 9.5.
Right
Give
on.
us
That's
that.
impressive.
That's
That's
all very
impressive.
high scores. I mean, it's so iconic.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah.
I'm not sure what makes it 10. I really don't. Well, wait, didn't Stevie? Didn't
I
Stevie
did,
make
but I got overzealous.
Nightmare on Elm Street a 10?
After we talked about stuff, I understood. And I was like, yeah, because I wasn't looking at like with this one. Halloween is like one of my favorite movies of all time. But you know, even though it doesn't mess with the movie or anything, I
So,
still see mistakes, so it can't be a perfect score.
so what is? I mean, is there anything that's a perfect score? That's the question. That's the question. That is the ultimate question. What is
Yeah,
a perfect? What movie can have a perfect score?
I don't know if there's one that could.
Or I don't know.
I mean, there's good movies out
9.8
there.
is pretty close.
What's that?
9.8 is real close.
Oh,
I almost said 10, but
There's got to be something you would change.
right.
Whether it's the dialogue or the or the palm trees, something. So I see how you could take off the point too. Man, perfect 10. It's gonna be tough. We'll see if we can find the perfect horror film.
Well, you and me.
Mhm.
Stevie already found his Nightmare on Elm Street.
Good.
you're a dick.
See,
Such a
I don't
jerk.
know. Wait, hold on. I replay the tape, Matt. Splice it in.
Well, I forget what I rated the Nightmare on Elm Street at.
Well, after we talked about that night, I realized that was not right. That's why I did that. They gave it a different number. You're not gonna let that go. Everyone keeps beating me about that. You're not gonna let that go.
What's your Mount
I would
Rushmore?
have to say, perfect movie though, and this isn't about Halloween or anything, but what Frankenstein might be.
Well, we'll have to talk about that when we do Frankenstein.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a movie in my head right now that I would rank higher than Halloween on a personal level.
That follows.
But
Nope.
Halloween is one of my favorites. So this movie influenced me with
Phantasm.
getting into the stuff that I'm into.
Yeah, and like when Stevie and I met was when we worked at Apple's. We were packers at Apple's, and
Hey, I was a Packer too. Don't
but this was
discredit me.
when Stevie and I met. We had this like we kind of looked at each other, and we had crazy hair, and
You have love in your eyes.
we just kind of knew. And then I don't remember the first time we talked about horror, but I know it was early on, and that's
Yeah.
it was after that. It was,
We didn't work
Like
much. We just talked.
Step brothers. You're like, what's your favorite dinosaur?
Do we just become best friends? Yes, we have.
But then, yes, Mike was also a packer at Apple. So,
yeah.
Yep.
But Mike's been stuck with me since he was about 5 years old.
Yeah. Too long.
You're gonna get rid of me.
He's only tried to kill me 3 times. That's
3?
fine. He's like, listen, it won't hurt.
Just try it. Just try
this.
All right, so I guess that's it. We wrapping this up?
Man, I guess so. I can't imagine how long this is.
Yeah, and I know that there's more you could talk about, but it's just this is a long one.
We're probably at about 2 hours, but it's Halloween. Man,
it is Halloween. It's go ahead.
No, I can't imagine anybody making it through the whole thing.
No.
But if you did, and you want a t-shirt,
Kudos.
let me know what size you wear.
You know,
Oh
Phil and
man, look at
Zach
that.
Phil and Zach will stick through the whole thing.
Yeah, maybe.
They'll watch it all.
People probably like put it on to fall asleep too.
Yeah. And if you have something that you want to add, I mean, I know we probably missed stuff, but
Oh, there's a lot. Yeah.
I mean, of course, there's a lot. Yeah, there's a lot that we missed.
Well, there's gonna be more
Man.
Halloweens. There's gonna be other Halloweens.
Ugh,
Can we get through your notes?
I think so. I think we got through everything. Yeah, Carpenter's a pervert. Oh
Real
man.
quick,
So go ahead.
I was gonna ask what you guys thought of the ending.
The ending?
I love it.
I think the ending was perfect. That could you imagine going to the theater in 1978 to watch this film, and you leave the theater thinking that Michael's out there?
Yeah. That'd
Yeah.
be so scary.
Yeah,
Yep.
That ending, that breathing sound.
yeah.
It's
Yeah.
beginning. Yeah. You
Like-
leave that with like chills, like looking over your shoulder.
It's the perfect way to end a Halloween film, and it's not to throw Michael in a wood chipper or cut off his head. Nobody wants to see that. People want to go to the
No.
movie and feel scared and suspense, and then be worried that it's still out there when they leave the theater.
Yeah.
We didn't want Michael to get killed. Jamie Lee Curtis has got to shut her fucking mouth when she's talking about, well, blah, 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 girl power. No, no, no. Evil is out there, and it's what we go to watch the movies. You
Yeah.
know what I'm saying?
Yep.
Like, yeah, you can have girl power throughout the movie, but Michael is always going to be alive.
I'm not celebrating the holiday Halloween for girl power. I'm celebrating Halloween for the ghouls, ghosts, and goblins.
Yeah. Not, but anyway,
I have no issue. I have no issue with Final Girl.
Mhm.
Right? Like we talked about that with Terrifier, right? We like the Final Girl in Terrifier.
No, that's a
Um,
part of the horror film, but like to think that you're gonna kill the evil and
Right.
the audience is gonna go home satisfied. It's not a satisfying ending to see the evil die. It's a satisfying ending to leave the theater and be on the edge of your seat and be afraid to go in the basement.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah. You don't need an ending. Like you don't need a satisfying ending. The satisfying ending is not knowing.
and that's why I love the ending of Killed so much.
Yes. And I told you that
Killed,
night.
that was the perfect ending, and then ends
Said
with
nothing.
such garbage.
Yeah.
Oh, good. 70-year-old Jamie Lee Curtis just whooped Michael's ass.
All right, hold on. Hey, we're
Dude.
listen, we're talking about the original Halloween
Yeah.
that was
So-
perfect.
Yeah.
It was a 9, a 9.5, and a 9.8.
Yep.
It made us fall in love with Michael Myers. It made us fall in love with Halloween. We love it because it gives us that nostalgia of Halloween. I love that they mix in the trick-or-treaters.
Yeah.
It's very subtle. Everything about the movie is good. And I watch it every single year. I literally the other day watched it 3 times and I loved every single time.
That's awesome. That's when you
I
know it's
did.
good.
Yeah,
Halloween
every
was
single time.
that was my stepping stone into horror movies pretty much. Like that's what made me want to dive in.
So
Was that-
what else were you going to add? You were going to add something else, Mikey.
Me? Oh, nothing. Just it was another era that the commentary I was listening to, it got really annoying because Jamie Lee Curtis kept harping on it. The stupid door. Because the handle was on the right on the inside of the door, and then on the outside it was on the right, so it was like opposite ends.
Which door? Of the house?
Of the house, that she was in.
Oh.
Of Tommy Doyle's house.
Okay.
Yeah, if you look, like they go to this side of the door, and then on the other side it's the opposite. They're opposite sides, and it's one of those things, you know. But I don't know. I love everything about this movie.
Yes, I agree.
So that's it. That's our Halloween
Yeah.
episode.
Man,
If you made it through this, congratulations.
you win. You win nothing.
We appreciate you guys for watching.
Maybe you get a T-shirt. Should we say if you're the first to comment a certain word, you win a T-shirt?
Yeah. If you're a medium, large, extra large, yeah. I only got like the bigger sizes, because they cost more. They charge
Okay.
like $4 or $5 more for like 2X, 3X, 4X. So if
Okay.
you comment, if you made it through this long ass video and you comment, what
I
word?
can't believe Stevie gave Nightmare on Elm Street a 10. I'm so no.
Oh my God. Jesus.
It's very specific.
You're such a butt.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
If you comment, I can't believe Stevie gave Nightmare on Elm Street a 10, and you are a medium, large, or extra large, we'll get you a shirt.
You have to be the first one to do it.
Yeah, no, I can't be buying shirts for everybody.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it can't be who you already given shirts to? Zach and
Sasquatch Phil.
yeah. Zach and Phil. So if those two say it doesn't count. They're already getting.
Guys are already getting shirts.
Yeah.
So what is it again?
I don't know. It's on the tape.
It's on the tape.
I'm gonna send another hurricane your way, Mike.
Oh man. I said I was kidding.
For watching.
Well,
Happy Halloween, everybody. Like and subscribe. We'll come back with a much shorter movie next time.
No, we won't.
Yeah, we will.
Much shorter, what, like 30 minutes?
Thank you guys for watching.
thank you. Happy Halloween.
See you next time.
Yeah.
Let's see it. Who is it?
That's coming in. Oh no!
Oh
Whoa.
no!
Oh,
Who's that?
Who is that?
hi. I love it.
Very frightening.
Yeah.
Like this. Like this.
That's
Oh
terrifying.
man. So terrifying. Terrifying.
I'm gonna have nightmares for sure.